Are you ready to heal your soul? You are about to discover the one secret trigger that causes your seemingly endless suffering and the fastest way to turn it off for good. I know how frightened, disconnected, anxious, lonely, lost, depressed, desperate, and powerless can you feel when you are haunted by a constant sense of danger, nightmares, and painful memories. I realize that right now it may seem like you'll never be able to stop this downward spiral slip into a deep, dark hole, this mighty force of self-destruction, which you cannot control, and that it will be impossible to get over what happened or feel normal again. I understand your pain. I know each day has been a struggle, and I am here to assure you you are not alone anymore, and to tell you that there is a way out. I have helped many wounded souls, like you, quickly overcome their deepest feelings of inadequacy, remorse, regret, shame, anger, guilt, and fear. If you are still traumatized by the memories of past events, if old emotional baggage is still running your life, if you feel like you are on self-destructive autopilot, where old emotional baggage is in the driver's seat of your life, and you'd like to reclaim control, then you have come to the right place. The end of your suffering is near, and I promise to show you how to escape from the prison of your unwanted emotions. But let me clarify some paramount concepts first. You see, your entire life is just a series of events. All that you believe about yourself, others, the world at large, the cosmos, and life in general is based on events which you have experienced. Something happened to you. Someone hugged you. Someone told you something. Someone slapped you. Someone kissed you. Someone yelled at you. You fell and sprained your ankle. You read something. You heard something. You saw something. You tasted something. You smelled something. These all are events. You experienced them through your senses. You also gave them a particular meaning, the best meaning you could come up with at the moment when the event took place, given the information, abilities, and resources you had at that moment. And based on the meaning you attributed to each event, you also judged it and put it in one of the two broad categories of good or bad. In the case where you put the event in the good category, you have also associated positive emotions with it. In the future, you will seek to experience similar events, or you will often remember and talk about this event in an attempt to relive the event, at least in your imagination, hoping this will make you experience similar positive emotions associated with the event. In the case where you have categorized the event as bad, you have associated it with negative emotions, and in the future you will avoid remembering it, talking about it, and will also try to avoid any similar events. Your emotional trauma, or PTSD, are also a result of a single event or series of events you have experienced at some point in your life. But there is a very important distinction to make here. It is not the events that have caused the trauma, but the meanings you have attributed to the events. On many occasions, I have talked to people about the traumatic events that shaped their lives. All the stories they were telling me were painful, affecting the person lastingly in very negative way. This is why I would like you to take a moment, give this a good thought, and allow me to share some insights with you. Let me tell you a true story. A group of scientists conducted a study about twins who shared the same genes and upbringing, yet led completely different lives and had opposing beliefs about themselves and the world at large. What was it that made them live different lives, making different decisions? Particularly remarkable was one case in which two brothers, sons of a notorious drunkard, were asked precisely this question: what shaped your life and made you become who you have become? One of them had fallen in love with the bottle and have become drug addict. Like his father, the other one was a successful businessman. Surprisingly, both gave the interviewer exactly the same answer. With such a father, what else could I have become? They both shared the same childhood events, yet they had given them a completely different meaning. One had decided to follow his father's path, which led him to lead the same wasted life. He thought, if my father is a loser, how could I have become any better? The other one chose to give the same chain of events a way more empowering meaning. Seeing every single day of my childhood where drinking would lead me, how could I possibly have chosen this path? So, what is the moral of this story? It is not the events we experience that shape our lives, but the meaning we give them. Tony Robbins. Do you realize how powerful this is? Once you decide to live your life based on this assumption, there is nothing and no one to blame anymore outside of yourself. I am not suggesting you blame yourself either. I just want you to see the power you already possess. And this is the power to change your way of thinking and thus to stop your suffering once and for all. Of course, there has been a whole lot of crap going on in your life. Strict and abusive parents, unfair teachers, a creepy uncle, a biased professor, an unloving and unfaithful spouse, whatever. None of it has a meaning except the meaning you give it. And the good news is, you can choose to give it a new, more empowering and nurturing meaning anytime you want. Yes, I mean it. You can do it any time you want. You can do it right here, right now. But changing your thinking by reasoning and more thinking is a very difficult, if not impossible task. If it was easy, you would have already done it. I am sure you have spent a lot of time thinking about your problems and traumas without getting any relief. You might have even visited psychologists and trauma specialists, but have not gotten the desired results. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Albert Einstein. Relax. No matter who or what has shaped your life in a lasting negative way, you have the power to change that, and this book is going to tell you how. As a matter of fact, I'm going to reveal to you the secret right now. Are you ready to learn it? The key to the lasting release of your suffering is hidden in the very thing that makes you suffer: your emotions. Every problem contains within itself the seeds of its own solution. Stanley Arnold. When the emotional charge associated with a particular event is released, the meaning you have assigned to the event will be transformed immediately, naturally, and effortlessly. This will miraculously empower you to see the positive side of the event and to perceive it not only as a disaster, but as an opportunity to learn, change, grow, and evolve. When dealing with a particular emotional problem, you should understand that at the bottom of every presenting problem, there is a single event. An event which happened at a particular location and time in your life, and which caused the changes in your way of feeling and thinking that are now creating the problem. Once you grasp those principles and apply them, healing trauma shall no longer take months or years. In this book, you will find 3 astonishing techniques which will enable you to quickly, easily, and permanently forgive and forget, mend your broken heart, eliminate grief and sorrow, heal your wounded soul, cure your PTSD, obtain emotional control, and achieve inner peace. These techniques are real gems for psychology therapists and PTSD specialists as well. They can do miracles with them without the need to make their clients go through painful memories over and over again, as is done nowadays in cognitive and talk therapy. Go ahead, order the book. Here's what people who have already applied the powerful principles and techniques described in this book are saying. Technique, technique, technique. I can't explain how this technique works. All I can say is, it does. Joe M. If you want results, this is it. If you know you have some emotional blocks and want to cut through them, I can't recommend this book highly enough. The techniques work. MLC. Create a better future. The principles and techniques in this book will allow you to create a better future by better understanding and managing the events of your past. Sensei Paul Bowman. A truly compassionate and understanding guide. Give this a go. You will definitely get relief from your suffering. Anna Elizabeth. PTSD Treatment that works. This book has served to help me get past some of the difficult, deep-rooted wounds that trigger me. I think the scope of this book goes well past those of us identified with PTSD, and that anyone and everyone can find fast and easy healing by incorporating its techniques. 5 stars. Olivia B. A lifesaver. Being raised in a family with a great deal of neglect, physical and emotional abuse, and then being diagnosed by the VA with PTSD, I learned from a very early to stuff and repress my emotions. As we all know, the personal repercussions from this are many and varied. I tried both AA and NA, finding both sadly lacking after 30 years of getting nowhere with either fellowship. For very few, it works. For most of the rest of us, it does not. I have only had this book for a few days, and yet I am already feeling a positive difference through the study and practice of the principles contained within it. If you have had really bad things happen to you, do yourself a favor and get this book. The language is simple and easy to understand, without a lot of metaphysical BS. I cannot praise the author highly enough. Ficker. Would you like to join them? Download the book now and start healing your life today. Discover how emotional trauma and PTSD are created and what is supporting their existence. Find out what is the real source of your problem and how to eliminate it faster than you thought possible. Learn how to erase, in a matter of minutes and sometimes even just in seconds, all negative beliefs and emotions associated with any traumatic event in your life or the lives of your loved ones. Are you sick and tired of the endless pain, anxiety, and depression? Would you like to get out of your misery and start living the life you have always dreamed of? How do you expect that to happen if you do not take action? Insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and to expect different results. Albert Einstein. Stop the insanity. Buy the book. Let the healing begin.